Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about The Amazing Race, Episode 6, Our Alliance Strikes Again.
Oh, yes, it does.
It struck hard.
There was some striking happening. We've got so much to say about this episode. But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/nerdtainment. We've got a new setup today. We're trying a new location.
We're not trying it. This is temporary. I've got guests up where we usually shoot.
Yeah,
also our guests.
Is now a bedroom.
Bedroom, right.
Yeah.
So for the next few streams,
yes,
we will be displaced
down here.
But you know what's funny is where we used to shoot with the window.
Yeah, the window in the middle of the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is also where the armoire is now.
The famous armoire that you thought disappeared. It's still around.
So
is it going to be back?
If I can get it set up.
You have to.
It's unorganized right now.
That's
but
fine.
The goal is to have that as our setup for Survivor this week.
I love that.
Not only will it be the window, but it will also be the armoire.
Yes.
I mean, come on, guys.
The most iconic piece of the background from this channel.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, we are doing the mega leg this episode, but it was a normal size episode. Still, it's a mega leg within an hour and a half.
Minutes, yeah.
And we're going to Argentina. And I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I did sort of think, like, as we watched our group 1 go, which is the boyfriends and the military pilots.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, they must be thrilled that the whole race is in South America with the Spanish speaking thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, this advantage is huge for them.
Yeah. No shock that the team's doing really well speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know not all of South America is Spanish speaking. If they go to Brazil, it will be Portuguese. But like, it's no wonder these teams are towards the top. You know, those moments of like asking for directions and reading signs and navigating and all of that is just that much easier when you speak the language, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Cordoba, is that how you pronounce it? Probably not. Argentina.
You're right. Is where we're going.
Like you said, boyfriends and pilots are going to be our group 1. Only 2 teams, and these 2 teams are going to dominate all leg.
Yeah.
Going to flip a little, which is fun to see.
And there were brief moments of crossover with teams behind them.
Yeah.
But it was like, we are leaving as you're arriving. You know, there wasn't a lot of sharing space between teams 1 and 2 and the rest of the pack.
Let's go ahead and just get to group 2 here.
Let's do it.
NFL.
Yep.
Colorado.
And Fragile Little Flowers.
And from henceforth in this episode, we shall just call them group 2.
They're a block. Literally in my notes, I'm like, group 2 is doing this, group 2 is doing that. Because they agree at the beginning of this leg, we're together and we're running the mega leg together. And it does benefit all of them, it seems, in different ways at different points throughout this mega leg.
Yes.
Yeah.
So much to say about all of that, but what we do hear here is that, hey, let's just follow Danny.
Exactly.
And Danny's saying, like, this is a mega leg for him and his mom. They need to just make sure they survive.
And get some roadblocks checked off for Angie. And let's use the help of these other teams to potentially do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that sets us off here. Everyone's following Danny. And we're going to get to our first detour.
Detour number 1 is the bicycle recycling thing or the cattle roping challenge.
Polidoro something.
I immediately was like, I think we'd do the recycling thing. It seems quite easy. But then when I saw people doing it, I was like, oh, this is quite physical and challenging.
The bicycling? Yes. But nowhere ever am I considering throwing a rope.
No.
Like something as precise as like a semi-lasso type.
Yeah.
No.
But almost everyone chose that first.
Why? Yeah. Why?
I was very confused at that.
Yeah.
But the boyfriends and the military pilots both choose that detour.
Yes.
Detour, excuse me.
So as they're going to go to that first throwing detour, group 3, we are going to see leave our law enforcement, grandparents, the firefighters, and the girlfriends.
Yeah.
And they're going to all, you know, as they do, get lost.
Yeah, and do their own thing.
Except for the girlfriends.
Yeah.
They're not going to get lost.
They're not getting lost.
Good job, guys.
But the mom firefighters and the retired grandparent law enforcement, getting lost is their thing.
They love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. So we're at the cattle thing. Ricky is not doing a great job. The pilots are doing a little bit better, but we see group 2 show up while these other 2 teams are going, and group 2 takes one look at what is involved, and they're like, we're out of here. This is not the detour for us. We're going to go do the recycling thing. All 3 of them.
Hello, Ricky and Cesar. Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome home.
Oh.
My phone said, welcome home.
Stupid's phone. Thanks that Ricky
Let me turn that off.
Live with us. That's amazing. Yes, before we get too far into group 2, because I got things to
you have
say.
thoughts? Okay.
Oh, even though Ricky and Cesar sort of struggle a little bit, and this is going to allow Juan and Shane to sort of jump ahead and get the throwing thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, the boyfriends are going to just power through this and get it because they excel.
That's what they do
at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk through this. Danny and Angie, Amber and Vinny, Rod and Letitia.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this throwing thing. Rod and Letitia are like halfway to start.
Well, yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't have done it.
Right. But
except
Danny,
for Leticia, maybe like wouldn't have been as good at it.
Well, Danny's like, we can't do this. We're gonna switch. And Vinny and Amber are like, good idea. We probably should switch as well. But Rod and Leticia, they could have done this.
They could have.
Would they have switched? Is my question.
Without the prompting of Danny and Angie saying we're switching?
Yes.
Probably not. I think Rod is going to beast anything, which he also does at the recycling.
Yeah.
Like Leticia, she's along for the ride. Really, Rod is the one driving this team. So I think he would have done fine. I do think potentially, I mean, we'll never know how Leticia would have done at the throwing thing.
Yeah.
But I could have seen a world where Rod got it really quickly and she struggled a little bit more. And maybe the recycling thing was better for them in the long run because Rod can just power through and do it all.
She doesn't.
And she sweeps up the shards at the end, Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ray. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ray.
Here's what I think. I think Rod spent one leg with Leticia going, we might be going the wrong way.
No.
He said no more.
Yeah.
I'm teaming up with Danny.
Danny's my new partner in this race.
That's what he said. And he was like, if they switch, then we have to switch because I can't let Leticia navigate, I think is what ultimately
You're probably right.
You're probably right. Episode.
Yeah. That's very astute, Sarah. So and I'm sure that's the case.
Off we go as a herd.
Yeah.
Group 2 is heading over to Bisacoca.
Yes. And as the military pilots have now left, like you said, they were first. The boyfriends have finally finished the cattle roping thing as the girlfriends show up. So this is where there is a little bit of crossover with teams 1 and 2 and the rest. But I think the difference is the girlfriends don't have that moment of seeing what is involved.
Yeah.
And so they're like, oh, they're gone. Like, let's go.
Yes.
Obviously, they've completed this. And so it's possible to complete this. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
But it was like a different way of kind of receiving that challenge than group 2, where they like walk in the middle of it and they're like, throwing that thing? No. So the girlfriends have arrived in their
Did the boyfriends tell the girlfriends like patience is key? I feel like I saw that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yes, they finished it. They told us patience is key. Okay, we can power through this, but also just like props to the girlfriends for getting there so fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm like rooting for them they had like a 5th place finish early on in the season. And I'm like, come on, get back to the top of the pack. But it's tough to break through when you've got group 2 going, and group 2 is going at the recycling now.
And meanwhile, somewhere in here, we see firefighters and law enforcement grandparents getting directions.
Oh, yeah, they're lost.
They're still doing that.
They're still lost.
Okay, great.
So group 2 is at recycling. Like I said, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is actually really hard. And I thought Rod I don't understand why like Vinny and Amber weren't doing more of what Rod was doing. Rod was standing the whole time. I'm like, that's how you do it. How you get the most leverage on those pedals.
NFL players.
I guess so. But Vinny was like sitting down pedaling. I'm like, get your body up. And like, but Vinny was also very strong. Amber fully couldn't move the pedals at one point. Vinny was like trying to push her foot.
Yeah. I do think that they like got it jammed.
Yeah, they did.
I think Rod was so good that he just never got it jammed.
No.
Vinny got it jammed.
Yeah.
He did start to struggle, so they switch. Amber can't do it at all. He has to like, they figure out, go back a little.
Yeah.
Which I saw people who do like cycling and Peloton and whatever say, like, yeah, you have to like go
undo
back
it and then go. Yeah.
So this is the thing people know. I don't know.
Angie, I don't think is doing it. I think it's just Danny who's doing the actual pedaling.
Angie jumped in a little.
Did she?
Yeah, they swapped.
Okay. Okay. So they're kind of going back and forth. Rod did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And Leticia, like I said, swept up the crumbs at the end and poured them in the basket. And they are the first to complete it.
Good job, babe.
Yeah. And when they complete it, they're like, so, you know, when one team finishes first in group 2, you start the mapping out of the next portion. You don't leave without them. They sit and map while Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny are finishing the recycling challenge.
Okay. So this is the second moment. Like I was like mildly surprised Rod and Leticia changed detours with them. But now I'm really surprised because Rod beasted that. Get the heck out.
Yeah.
Go run your race.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, now they leave, right?
No.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They're sitting over there mapping.
As if. Danny's going to be like, I don't need you to do that.
Danny's like, this isn't
Thank you
right.
for sitting there and doing something with a map, but we're going to discard that.
You just have spirals.
I'm going to send that through the recycling shredder because we don't need that map. I have my map. But I mean, they're in it.
But they're
right?
there. They're waiting.
Rod's like, I'm not leaving with you with that map. No way are we going. I'm following Danny.
Did you see what Leticia wrote on the map? I'm staying for Danny. So yeah, eventually it doesn't seem like too far behind. Who knows with an edit?
Right.
But eventually all 3 teams are like looking at this map and heading off now.
Yeah. And
oh my gosh.
In the meantime, we've seen Derek and Shalisa now arrive at the cattle thing. They're going alongside the girlfriends with that. The firefighter moms have finally kind of found their way to the Detour clue, and they're on their way to recycling they've chosen.
Okay.
So those teams are finally getting it together, but they are struggling.
At some point in here, one of the firefighters says, this leg is for the earth. And I loved it. Because it was like bicycling, recycling.
Yeah.
And she was like, this leg is for the earth. And I was
love
like,
that. Go earth.
Yes, go earth.
Shalisa at the cattle thing, she gets it on the first try.
She killed. And
Derek there's a different target in Derek's head.
Yeah, sure.
He said, I see that cow, but I think I'm going to throw it over here. He did not.
She's like, what are you throwing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because they're hilarious together.
They're so funny.
But yeah, it doesn't take her long to be like, oh, Derek can't do this. We're gonna have to go.
I was surprised. They actually tried it for a little bit longer than I think they should have, given his directional challenges.
I've seen most teams figure it out.
Yeah.
So I figure just do it. Don't switch detours.
Yeah. Well, because the girlfriends get it. So now they're in 6th place, right? Because groups 1 and 2 have finished. Girlfriends finished the cattle thing. They're off and running. And Derek and Shalisa have decided to switch detours.
Oh my God. People on this season switch detours like changing their underwear.
Yeah.
I have never seen people just be like, yeah.
Back and forth. And I mean, remember the twins. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in Mexico.
They set us on a tone?
They did. Maybe they kind of like poison the well a little bit.
Usually you're like, we're not going to change detours unless we are just dying. And maybe the other one is right there and I can see it.
Yeah.
No, we're going to get in a car and we're going to completely change, which I guess they should have just done this one first, but you never know this stuff.
Yeah. But we're getting to our first roadblock now, right? And it's the car race track, and you're going to ride in the car. And what the producers poison your brain into thinking is that you need to memorize every turn.
Right.
And really keep track of, like, it was a left first, and then we kind of did a little loop, and then we went in a circle, and then we went really far down and back up. And you need to memorize that track. No, you don't. Right. You need to put together a puzzle.
Yeah. But you're not going to know that, right? You're going to get in the car. You're going to focus on it, which, by the way, I would have done this 100%, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God. A rally car. I'm so excited. They're getting suited up.
And I'm like, you go, girl.
Let's
have fun.
Get in this car. Yes. Let's go.
Yes.
And I'd have been like, turn, left, right, whatever. And then you see a puzzle and you're like, oh, that's just to shake me up and distract me. That's to get me hot and confused. And it's really just a puzzle. I need to focus on the puzzle.
Yes. Okay. And some people do not get that. When we see checks of this puzzle, the roads have to connect. It is one long road. I know that. So if one road is going this way and another one is going this way, that's wrong. And people spent 3 minutes putting the pieces in place like that.
Let's point out that you only have 3 minutes. Like it could take you 2 minutes just to lay the pieces out.
Okay.
At least the first time.
Yeah, maybe the first time. And then from then on, I need the roads to connect.
I liked that it was timed 3 minutes and then you have to like go through the process again. Because I do think you get so confused that you're like, And also the first, I guess the default instinct is to put the end
in the corner.
At the end, at the bottom.
People would seem to struggle with that.
And I think I would have done that first.
For the first.
As well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because you're just like, let me place some things up there. End would go here.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to realize, oh no, it's going to be a
down. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I would hope that on the second one I got, but we're going to see that that's not the case here.
Yeah. While the boyfriends are starting, because we saw the military pilots leave the cattle thing first, but they get to this roadblock second.
That's right.
The boyfriends are still really good at navigating.
They're the best at navigating.
So they're there. It's Ricky who does it, right? He gets all the way through, gets to try the quiz one full time before there's anybody else even there.
Yeah.
So they've got a little bit of like breathing room, but the military pilots are soon there. While they're, starting to go through this, we are cutting back to group 2, still navigating together. And this is when I was starting to wonder, I was like, is this good that they're like sticking together so closely? Like, shouldn't they? I wasn't immediately like you as like, this is bad. They, should not be staying together. This was sort of the moment where
when they were here. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about group 2.
Let's talk about it.
Block. First off, we see Angie, Amber, and Leticia doing this. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Are those the 3 doing this?
Well, I mean, obviously, Fragile Little Flowers decided this is Angie's leg for Roadblocks.
Yeah,
We've got the support of other teams. Hopefully they'll like continue to support us, but like we're just trying to check these off here.
But these were brutal challenges for her to do.
And she's literally like a suit. Oh God, it's so
those
hot.
are fire suits.
Yeah.
Those are so hot. And we're already in a location that is not cold.
Yeah.
So I would never have put her.
Yeah.
But anyway, here we are. The 3 of them are going to do it. And we are going to see struggles for the most part.
Yes.
To the point that Angie is off with the medics.
Talking about a penalty.
Taking a penalty.
Danny, again, just so patient and supportive. And he like goes over there and he's like, I hear you. I see you. We're not doing a penalty. And she's like, yeah, I think we are.
She's like, I think we are.
Yeah.
And
she's like, we could either start it now or we could start it after I do this 2 more times.
Exactly. When would you like the 4 hours to start? Which I thought was a valid point. I don't know. His support was interesting.
Okay.
He said, I know you would never want to let me down.
It was a little passive aggressive. I know you're not abandoning me.
Oh my God, did he just say that? And then, you know what? It worked. She was like, I will not let my son down. That's obviously their dynamic.
She's like, the only reason I am here is you.
That's right. I will not let you down.
Yeah. But really, it's Amber who doesn't let them down.
That is the case.
So Juan, or was it Shane who did this? It was Juan.
Yeah.
Juan did it one time, 90 seconds, got the puzzle.
He's
out.
Whatever.
Ricky struggles a little bit more, is frustrated, but he gets it. So they're out
3 attempts. Yeah.
Amber finally gets
4.
it.
Yeah.
And Danny and Angie are like, go run the race.
Go run your race.
It's like,
you are done.
It's like she has a lifeboat off the Titanic and they're like, leave us on the Titanic. We're going down. Go save yourself. And Amber's like, I can't leave them. I cannot. I made a commitment.
Did you make a commitment? I missed that. It was probably off camera. But so let's back up one step because she did start crying while she was doing the puzzle. Like, even though she figures it out, it was hard for her.
And I think that's kind of how she like processes emotion and frustration.
Right.
Yes.
But then to see her melt down, saying, I cannot leave Angie, like Angie was her own
mom.
mother.
Yeah.
I was shooketh.
I mean, Danny and Angie's strategy so far is paying off here.
100%.
People feel like they cannot leave them. Where Angie was like, don't help them, don't help them. I think every single time they helped another team, it's all built up to this.
Yes.
Where Amber's like, I cannot walk away from this. And Amber fully steps in. She's basically like, Angie, get in the effing car and do the track, and I will put together the puzzle with you. And that's what she does.
She doesn't just give Angie the like, okay, it's going to put the end here, go up, go around. She doesn't do that. She says, I will stay here.
Yeah.
You get in that car.
Yep.
She stands back and tells Angie where to put each piece.
She's like, this curve, top right corner. The flag goes here. Like,
the way I tell you, I'm watching like this. Like, what at this point? Then
she does it to Leticia.
She stays for Team NFL?
Because Leticia was in worse shape than Angie.
No.
Because Leticia, her roads were like this, all parallel. I was like, I don't think you're ever going to figure this out.
No, and nor should she ever figure it out if that's how she's doing it. I am floored at why you stay and help a team who has Rod on it.
Yeah, these teams are people who have won first place in a leg. I think Rod and Leticia and Danny and Angie both have a first place under their belts.
What are you doing?
This is your chance.
Yes, I understand. Amber is a Pisces. She is going to care about this woman who is struggling.
Yeah.
So I can't believe she stayed, but I get it.
Yeah.
I understand the human nature to like, I don't care about the race. You've helped me navigate. I'm going to help you with this. Get it. But the fact that she stayed to help Team NFL, I am completely confused on that strategy. And I do not think it was smart for them or for Angie and Danny.
I think she just thought, we're in this together. It's one leg, and maybe now's not the time. I hope she knows that, like, I think they all know that they can't do this till the end of the race. But
I don't think Amber knows.
Yeah.
But I don't think Amber was built for this race. Like, I think she's not like cutthroat competitive.
Yeah. She's not like Vinny. She's very different. She approaches things very differently.
Yeah. Like, she says things like, I can't. And I'm like, but you can.
And you have to.
You need to. You got this. You can do it.
Yeah. She was like, this car thing is impossible. And then she figured it out. And again, I think that's just part of like how her brain works. And she kind of has to like express those things and get them out. And then she's like very capable. But yeah, it was crazy to see her help Angie and Danny and Rod and Leticia. They all get out. Meanwhile, like the girlfriends have arrived, and I believe the moms have arrived as well. And they're witnessing this.
Yes.
They're like, whoa, okay.
This is where I get real mad.
Yeah.
Because why do Rod and Leticia just get to be handed a leg? This entire leg was handed to them. Where you say that like people benefited.
Yeah.
Like Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny, I do feel like there was mutual benefiting.
Sure.
But tell me what Rod and Leticia did for anybody.
Yeah.
Let me know if I missed it.
I think maybe they helped a little bit in the meat because I think they got the meat first.
They might have gotten a meat or two. But I feel like
they probably
two
benefited
teams
the most.
would have still been fine. They were complete followers in this leg, and they are strong enough to beat you to the mat, which we're about to see.
Yeah.
And they can peel away from you at any time when a leg doesn't need navigation
100%.
and beat you.
Yeah.
I'm so confused on why you strategically would want them in the game over the girlfriends or the firefighters who have been down here
doing that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're a squad this leg of the race. So they're off.
Okay.
Where are we now in my notes? I don't even know. So Derek and Shalisa are at the recycling thing.
They're going to buy.
They have arrived.
They're doing it.
They're going back and forth. Derek's legs are jelly. Shalisa's taking over. They're just slow, but they're finishing things.
Okay, let's just jump to the next roadblock.
Second roadblock, soccer.
Who wants to score? Yeah, bubble soccer.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But pretty serious because you do have to sort of figure out the strategy.
No problem for Shane whatsoever. He gets in there. He bounces some people around. Yep. He scores his goal. They're out.
Yes.
Juan and Shane are killing it this leg.
Yes.
Cesar goes, and he has, I don't think he's expecting so much the like getting bounced around.
Yeah.
But then he kind of realizes he's like, I got to show these people that I'm in charge. And so then he throws his weight around and starts bouncing people, and he gets through after maybe like.
But that's exactly the strategy.
Yeah.
You don't know people are going to hit you.
No.
I wouldn't guess that.
Yeah.
And then after they do, you're like, oh, well, then I
don't have to be nice.
Exactly. So that I can actually kick this ball.
Right.
Very smart. He figures that out. Off they go.
Yep.
So they're still first and second.
They are.
Flippy floppy a little bit.
And they're now on the way to the second Detour. We do finally see now Derek and Shalisa arrive to the roadblock with the car.
Okay.
And Derek is not a puzzle person.
Nope.
He is the one who they have selected to do the car.
So he's going to be over there struggling with that puzzle. Firefighters and girlfriends.
They've finished the car thing, and they're on the way to the clue as well.
Yes.
For the second Detour, or for the second roadblock.
Okay, so because I have here, this is when they like pass. They're here before group 2.
Yeah.
So this is when we see them at least come up a little bit.
I mean, as much as the firefighter moms have struggled with navigation, they zoomed ahead.
Yeah.
And they arrive at that soccer stadium in 3rd place. And the girlfriends get there in 4th.
Yes.
Yes.
So they're going to be able to get through this.
Yep.
Great. That's going to send them off to the Detour fingerprinting or meat cuts.
Those poor people at the fingerprinting station.
I'm so mad about that.
I mean, who knows if Derek and Shalisa did the fingerprinting?
I know.
But we don't know if we just watched the episode because they did not show them do that Detour.
Right.
But everybody chose the meat.
Everyone chose the meat. And I'm so upset about that. We would have 100% chosen the fingerprinting.
As if I'm going to go watch someone describe cuts of meat.
As if I'm going to touch meat that's been sitting out all day? What?
No.
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 Was this the most appealing?
Yeah.
The fingerprinting sounded more exciting. And I will say that the law enforcement grandparents did reveal in my exit interview that they didn't even get the clue to go to this. So they didn't know that there was another option.
They said, it's time for the pit stop.
The clue they ripped open said, go ahead and head to the pit stop until they watched the episode.
Wow.
And then they heard, wait, fingerprinting? That's literally what we do.
Yeah.
They would have loved it.
I think that means that when they got the clue, everybody else was already done. So it didn't matter.
Yep.
The producers are like, we are not going to sit through this.
Exactly. But I feel bad because a producer designed that.
Yeah.
And we didn't get to see it.
Yeah. Well, so we're starting this meat challenge because the military pilots and the boyfriends have opted to do this. And it's great because they come in and the guy just starts talking.
Yes.
They're trying to get their gloves on and they're like hair situation.
Like, say that again. Oh, wait,
can you stop? Can you just pause one second? And he's continuing down the line.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've got this script and I was told not to wait.
Yeah.
So no. I'm not stopping.
Yeah, you do have to figure out that's the way this goes.
Mm-hmm.
I do not stop for anything. I just do a list of words.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest task. Like there takes some minutes to figure it out. And then also you need to go and see like what the puzzle part or how you answer.
Yeah.
Because that's not clear.
Right.
And then you're able to like process, okay, this is how I need to memorize this.
And it's importantly, there's one station where you learn. And then you travel to another station where you do the blocks. It's not like, do you got it? Okay, here's the block. And we're going to do it like you have to leave and go outside and go down another alley. And that's where you get into the blocks. And that's where some things can get switched up.
Yep.
But
we're not there yet
because we're seeing the moms and the girlfriends, right? And they're doing the soccer thing and they kind of get bounced around. Busy was losing her sunglasses a lot. And I was like, you should just throw those off. Like, I'm concerned that you're going to get injured. But they eventually kind of learn, like, you got to shove your way through this.
Yes.
And I think it's Busy who finishes first with the firefighter moms.
Okay.
And then Yvonne finishes. So they're on their way to the Detour as well, to the meat thing, as we've discussed. Everybody chose that. Then the military guys finish the meet.
Yes, they're going to get out first here.
Yeah.
Boyfriend's not far behind, out second.
And it's a race to the pit stop.
Race to the pit stop.
Yes.
And may I just say, because I still have more to say about this group to herd mentality.
Okay.
But looking at this episode as a whole, what a delight to watch these top two teams battle it out.
Are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm being serious.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm so annoyed with
everything else.
The rest of this group. But like both of those teams, you know, they didn't have like a flawless leg.
No.
Like they had to figure things out.
And they were kind of like jumping back and forth in front of each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But nobody helped anybody else.
Nope.
They all just did it themselves.
Yep. Old-fashioned competition.
I loved it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. Back to the rest of these people.
Let's finish the car roadblock because Derek and Shalisa are still there. I mean, maybe you know how many tries it took him. But he finally finishes and Shalisa's like, I'm so proud of you. Wait a minute.
Oh my God. True to Shalisa form.
This is what you had to put together?
Wait, this is the puzzle?
She's like, he literally clocks right away. She's like, it has nothing to do with that racetrack. Oh. This is just a puzzle.
Yeah.
And it's one big loop.
It's a loop.
And it took you that long to put it together? Let's go. Again, she rolls her eyes and is like, we're moving on. Let's get out of here.
It does look easy once it's all together, but we haven't been shooken up by a car. We're not overheated. We didn't have to pull the pieces out.
She's like, first, you couldn't throw the cattle thing. Then your legs were jelly on the recycling thing. And now you can't put together a circle puzzle? What's the next thing? Let's go find out.
Yeah, well, yeah, she was over this.
Over it. Okay, so then we're at the soccer. We're seeing group 2 at the soccer challenge. Rod, of course, done easy.
Great.
One try. Angie is getting absolutely plastered on that field, and I am so concerned
because she's so fragile.
She's so fragile.
Like my pinky.
And I will say, those players are going a little easier on her.
The
producers are like, we've got a senior citizen here.
She said they knocked her down and she said, please don't hit me.
Yeah.
And I think they were like, oh don't hit her.
We're going to hurt her.
Yes. And they didn't hit her.
Yeah. No, when she finally got it, they cleared a path for her to run through. And no. Yeah, she seems fragile, and I wish she didn't do this challenge, but that's on her and her son. No, there was someone who was literally standing right by the ball, and as she ran up to like do her feeble little kick in, he could have easily just been like, boop, and bumped into her.
Yes, make it hard for them too. I thought that was so unfair.
Yes.
But I also was like, why is she doing all the tasks in this episode?
Yeah, but as those teams are finishing up because they're still waiting for each other, Rod and Leticia kind of acted like they were going to take off first.
Gone.
But again, Rod's like,
he was like, navigate with this woman?
No. She doesn't. She's never seen a map in her life.
She's not going to get us there.
So they're all waiting. We see the firefighter moms and the girlfriends now arrive at meet, and they're like, I actually think they got to the clue together, and they were like, let's do meet together and work together, and let's get this done.
Let's do this. And I'm like, yes, let's go.
Right. So you were happy about this alliance, but not the other alliance.
Well, because, yes. I mean, I was happy about like Angie and Danny and Amber and Vinny working together. That makes sense, right? Okay. Staying back and like doing a task for someone, and I'm not sure about that. That's a gray area.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I am a team behind teams working together, I have to team up. Yeah. Even if I don't like you, we have to team up to have a chance if the other teams are teaming up. And by now they know it.
Got it. Okay.
So they have to work together for this.
Yeah.
They try.
They
try to work
They tried to work together, but they didn't quite think everything through. So they get there to the meet, and I loved they're at the station together, the guys, and they're like, we're going to do half and half. You memorize that half and we'll memorize this half. And the guy's just doing his thing and going through, and Busy's just elbows on the table. And she's like, asado, asado, asado,
I'm like,
asado, asado. And I'm like, nobody else can memorize anything when you're saying the same word over and over again. And that's also one of probably 8 pieces that you have to memorize.
You're supposed to memorize more than one. Why are you saying it out loud? yeah, that's not the strategy. But again, you don't know that till you go see what you have to do.
Yeah, right.
Then you can be like, okay, no, that's
got it. Okay.
Not really how this works.
Yeah.
But so they are going to move to the puzzle pieces where we're moving meat around.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see
Group 2 arrives. And Rod and Leticia leave the sort of like presentation portion first. They go into the alleyway and they're realizing that the stations are first come, first serve. And the girlfriends and the moms are in there at their stations. They have stations locked down.
Yeah. Well, it says it in the clip, but yes.
Right. But it's
Rod and Leticia just barrel through though. They're like, we'll take the third station.
100%. But I wasn't putting together. I was like, all these teams are choosing meat, but it didn't. There was no consequence for that until this moment.
Yes.
When Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny are like, we're stuck out here. And Rod and Leticia are just in there. And what do? This is horrible. But then the girlfriends and the moms are not getting it. And they leave and go back to the instructions. And Danny says,
let's go.
Well, Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny had already gone back.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just learn more while we're waiting. As soon as we see another team come, though, we're running and we're going to go in. They see both teams come back and they're like, let's go. And Danny's like, we are staying until we get it. And we're locking them out.
And that is the smart strategy.
That's the strategy.
Danny, that's so brilliant.
Yes.
Of course. Especially if you have multiple teams to work with.
Yeah.
You can do every combination
100%
and never have to leave.
No. And as long as you have two teams behind you, lock them out.
Right.
Because you're ahead.
Do I hate this? Yes. But
and Danny acknowledges, he's like,
do it.
This is not nice, but it's what we had to do. And I'm like, you're right.
I wish the ladies had figured that out. I know. Right? They had
they do, but
the benefit.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah.
And if they had realized, let's just do all permutations. How am I saying that word?
Yeah.
Instead of going back, then great. They would have figured out the strategy, but they didn't. They gave up their spots. Danny figured it out.
Yeah.
Three of them. I mean, they're fortunate that there's three of them in 3 stations.
Again, the way that Rod and Leticia benefited from this, because when they arrive and the girlfriends and the moms are there, they have no idea because they didn't spend long enough learning and memorizing. They just ran to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So they get there and they're clueless. They're like, I don't know anything. Once Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny get in there and they're all working together, it is Rod and Leticia who get the correct check first. And they do stay and they're like, this one goes here and this one goes here. And they're helping the other teams. But initially they were clueless.
I don't think they got it first because they figured anything out. The three of them are working together.
All worked
and Danny's
together.
Like yelling it. I think that they were just the ones who were going to try this first one.
Yep.
Right.
And they were right.
So then everyone else can now follow
Copy
that.
It. Yeah.
Right. So I'm not giving Rod and Leticia any credit on this.
No.
But they are going to get it. So obviously, like one station opens up.
Yeah.
Girlfriends can come in or firefighters, whoever it was, starts to come in.
Yeah.
They have completely witnessed these 3 teams literally giving each other the answers.
And they're like, can you help us? And Angie's like, I don't know.
This made my tummy hurt. This was so hard to watch.
It was really tough. Because they're like, are you serious?
I was screaming like the homophobia. I was like, I was coming up with every angry thing. I was like, you women haters. I was so mad. But I mean, I get that it's not that. I get that it's like, look, we've been working together and we have to keep going.
We're trying to survive a mega leg here.
Can't help everybody.
Yeah.
But it's gross to watch.
It's tough. It's tough. And the moms and the girlfriends are both like, message received. Like, okay, you literally are done. Like one of them says, like, you guys are done.
Yes.
You can't just throw us a little bit of a bone. And Angie's like, and Danny starts to. And Angie's like,
Danny can't help himself.
She's like, I am playing the mom card and you will stop.
She played the mom card a few minutes before. Okay. We're playing the mom card now. Because I hate now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is tough. It is tough. But they all leave group 2.
Let me just say one more thing.
Okay.
Here's what it's giving.
Yeah.
You know how in school you got like the nerd who wants to hang out with the cool kids, so he does everyone's homework, or like he does the project.
That's Danny.
Project, and then all the cool kids are hanging around because he's doing their work.
Yeah.
And then like the other fellow nerds like come and are like, "Can we sit at the lunch table?"
And Danny's like,
like, "No."
Well, Angie's like, no.
Okay, Angie was like, "No." You can't sit with us.
Danny truly is trying to help everybody.
It felt like you can't sit with us.
It was that. It was.
But I get it strategically.
Yeah.
I do get it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, where are we?
So it's basically a self-driving race to the finish line now. Group 1 is already there. We'll go through the order of the pit stop.
Yes.
Group 2 is starting to navigate. The girlfriends of the moms eventually finish the meet pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly.
So Derek and Shalisa, they're just done. So it's these 5 teams who are now navigating to the finish, and like who's going to get there first. And Derek, or not Derek, I keep saying the wrong names. Danny and Angie are a little bit like, we might want to lose these people now. Like we're on the way to the pit stop and they're clearly following us.
Oh, you think?
Maybe we should lose them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good luck, sir.
But they don't.
They're following you.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Danny thought they would like race themselves.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah.
What world are you living in?
And look, they survived the mega leg, but they were at the bottom of that group in terms of the finish here. So
that's
no more
the
helping
thing.
them.
Danny was like, we're all going to race to the finish ourselves. And they said, yes, except
we're going to follow you.
We follow you because we can outrun you.
Yeah.
That's how it works, Danny.
Yeah.
So they all 3 drive to the pit stop together. Rod and Leticia beast it out like they do.
Of course.
And they are going to get a third place finish because of you guys.
They honestly probably could have been back with Derek and Shalisa if they didn't get help with the puzzle.
We would have had a back of the race.
Yeah.
And we would have been like, who might it be?
Yeah. I mean, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
We know that Leticia was really struggling with that puzzle. We know that Team NFL did not have the meet memorized, and they were very much helped by Danny and Angie and Amber and Vinny. But that alliance paid off for those 3 teams. So the order in the pit stop. Juan and Shane got their first place. Congrats to them. Very cool for them.
5,000 each.
Yes.
Amazing.
Very cool. And then Ricky and Cesar are
right there. Second. Top team still.
Yes.
Like we said, Rod and Leticia are going to be able to take third on this.
Of course, Amber and Vinny are 4th.
Of course.
Danny and Angie are 5th.
5th place finish for them is really good. They did benefit from Amber 100%.
100%. Angie knocked off 2 roadblocks.
Yep.
They survived the mega leg. This really was,
this is a great spot for them.
Really good for them as well. Like, yes, it helped Rod and Leticia a lot, but.
And Amber and Vinny.
Yeah. But like Danny and Angie definitely benefited from this alliance.
Yes.
This leg.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yvonne and Melissa are going to be 6th.
Yeah.
Sunny and Busy 7th. And they're going to
all together
be on the mat together. And oh my God, the faces.
Oh, of course.
So awkward. Because the group that's together is like, oh, look at you. Way to go.
You're team number 7. And they're like,
y'all just were like, no.
We could have been 3 and 4, but we're 6 and 7.
I was like, the awkwardness.
Yeah. And like we said, we don't even get to see. I mean, Derek has a good time with the soccer thing and finishes, and they don't even get to do the second tour.
They didn't even get the option.
They technically did not finish the mega leg.
They technically did. I mean, they say, they're like, at least he didn't have to come get us. And I'm like, he kind of did. They just asked you to go to him.
He didn't come get you. He sent someone to get you.
He sent someone to get you, basically, which is tough. And like you said, had we not had this group together, just doing each other's work, then we might have seen something a little bit more exciting at the end. But no. Thank you for the super chat, TD.
Thank you, TD.
Oh, Angie pulled the mom card.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
So Derek and Shalisa are out. I'm bummed to lose them. They were a really strong team at the beginning, and I thought that they were going to carry that through, but they struggled a little bit more as the race went on. And just, I think, honestly, if I'm being real, I think Derek was kind of holding the team back in some key challenges, and Shalisa was, I think, a little bit.
They were so fun to watch, though.
I loved their dynamic.
I loved their energy. They're really a great representation of like the grandparents.
Fit older people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like they said, this was the start of their retirement.
Yeah.
Which I did ask them about. So please check out their interview if you haven't yet.
Yeah.
Is it help everyone or help no one? I mean, I think that's up to the racer, but helping everyone would be, I mean, when Danny does help everyone, I think that's the problem.
Yeah. And that does become when you're helping no one. You have to be selective about who you're helping. Otherwise, everyone gets the help and then you're on the same playing field.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like, and maybe we're just not seeing it in the edit, but the top 2 teams don't need to help anyone.
Yeah.
They don't. It out. Yeah. But Danny and Angie do need to help someone because they do need help back.
Yeah.
So pairing up with Amber and Vinny makes sense. Where I get confused is when Danny just helps everyone like Rod and Leticia. Like, you didn't get anything back from them and they can outrun you. Like, I think you just have to be strategic about who you help if that's going to be your strategy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for each racer, it's going to be different.
I mean, I don't know. I know who the top 2 teams are at this point. 100%. I don't know who 3 is. It could be Amber and Vinny. It could be Rod and Leticia. It could be Sunny and Busy. They were in 3rd place for a good portion of this leg.
How fun would that be?
That would be amazing to see them make their way up there because they've been more of like a middle of the pack kind of team and truly towards the back in some of the legs. But like we said, they are they struggle with consistency, but their highs are so high. I would really love to see them get a top 3 finish at some point. I'm still rooting for Yvonne and Melissa as well. They're on my draft team. I would love to see them get me some points and like to have a moment to shine.
Let me tell you, you need no points, David.
Oh, I am demolishing everyone in the draft.
You get no more points, sir. I have 1 team left and they're not getting me points at all. So you take your points and shove it, sir. Look, if the rest of the season is just the boyfriends and the pilots battling it out,
I think that's kind of what it looks like it's going to be.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely fine with that. They're such strong racers.
They are.
And if the rest of them just want to work together, then whatever.
Yeah,
that's up to them.
Yeah,
I mean, in the preview, Danny's like, I learned my lesson. But
he's too nice.
He's so nice.
Yeah.
And I think Amber is too. I think they're both just default nice and they're just going to work together.
Yeah.
And they're going to come in 4th and 5th, I think, at the highest.
Yeah. I mean, I could see those 2 because they have really had more of a bond than Rod and Leticia.
Yeah.
I could see them being like, let's team up against them now. Like, we help each other leap over Rod and Leticia.
I mean, that's the smart play.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you help a team that is stronger than you physically.
Yeah.
Unless it's that one helping you back.
Right.
Woo! But I also really have a problem with a racer doing another racer's work. That's where I have the problem. Teams working together, like the meat thing.
But saying this is how you put the puzzle together.
Yeah, working together when you're like, we're both going to do this and get out of here quicker, that just makes sense. But once you are done and rip your clue, staying back to give someone the answers? What is this?
I mean, there's clearly a gray area in the rules here.
Yeah.
And they're exploiting it. So.
Yeah. That's just where I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I honestly really recommend, if you haven't watched James and Kayla's recap of this episode, I highly recommend it because James has gotten a lot of flack
for alliances,
for his alliance.
Yeah.
And he admitted that he was humbled by this episode and sees it a little differently.
Interesting.
So I definitely recommend you checking that out.
Huh. Interesting. All right.
And then also check out Ricky and Cesar's.
Ah, yes.
Yay!
Love it.
Yeah. I think that's it, right?
I think so.
Okay.
We're at top 7 now.
Exciting episode. Obviously was heated.
Yeah.
I had things to say.
Opinions. I love it.
Yes. And I know you guys have lots of opinions about the alliances. So let us know. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the chat.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
And if you are joining us later, do let us know what you think about this alliance situation, how that's going to play out for everyone, and how you feel about Derek and Shalisa going home.
Ricky and Cesar, please stop giving David all the points. My God.
No, keep going. Thank you.
I mean, I want you guys to do well, but not how I deduct points. All righty, you guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you same time, same place next week.
All right, see you then.
Okay, bye. I don't have an outro.